So being here was immensely powerful and moving. When we think about how human beings were treated by the hundreds of thousands in this very place that we now stand.
And the Oscar goes to...
You lying ass bitch.
What's good, GATV family? Gravitating away, back at it again. Now, it's always interesting when an American elected official visits Africa. With so much that can be done to actually help the continent, like hunger, poverty, the seemingly never-ending government changes, debt that could be reduced or removed. Shout out to Dr. Umar for that undersold talking point. No, instead of all of that, there's this damning tactic to get the African leaderships in line with the West on the issues of LGBTQ inclusion. Remember, not even a week ago, Uganda just agreed to signing their newly reformed, quite extremely newly reformed, might I add, anti-gay bill, where execution is involved. Right after that news echoed throughout the world, lamenting Uganda's firm stance on heterosexual tradition, actress Harris starts an African tour, starting with Ghana, of course, where she did her best acting job. I mean, she did that. But wait, African tour? What about the gullible 90% black folks who help you get into office voting for you by way of President Biden? Have y'all delivered on those promises? Yet you're in Africa, acting your best. She says she promises aid to Ghana after convincing the Ghanaian president, Nana Akufo-Addo, to make changes to their current anti-gay bill. I mean, think about it. They had an anti-gay bill in line. Uganda just pushes through their extreme anti-gay bill, and this president goes with the flow and changes a bill that was set in place. Now, that unwanted president in Ghana, who just 4 months ago was met with a large sector of Ghanaian citizens demanding his resignation. Just 4 months ago, I mean, it was protests all over that country asking this man to leave. See, he can be weak and lured with Western tricks and gadgets, but I beg you folks in Africa to let the West keep their aid packages and their hollow promises for their Western citizens and American people that they are currently pushing down our throats over here. Remember, people, they never give you something for free. Their deals are always conditional. LGBTQ inclusion is viewed by Africans as an imported Western evil. Now, I'm going to play a series of clips so you can understand this agenda that is being rushed and met with urgency to be promoted throughout Africa.
It seems this month is a month of democracy discourse in the world. At the end of this month, there will be a conference in Lusaka, or a summit in Lusaka, Zambia, my country, led by the United States. They have come to Southern Africa to teach us democracy. A country that was opposed to our liberation, a country that supported colonial regimes, the apartheid regime in South Africa, the white racist minority regime in Zimbabwe, now Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, the Portuguese colonial governments in Mozambique, in Angola, in Guinea-Bissau, and Cape Verde, today is coming to Africa to teach us about democracy. A country that has been built on brutal force, on enslavement of other human beings, on the humiliation of Africans, the exploitation of Africans, the plunder of Africa. Today is coming to teach us about democracy. That's the arrogance, the imperialist arrogance, the racist arrogance.
That I'm asking Dr. Kizza Besigye, number one, to reconsider his statement today, along with other politicians, to make themselves and their stand clear and inform them that if they persist on standing for homosexualism, we will have no other choice but not to vote them. There's a campaign called Honor Your Vote and Vote Issues. Now, for me, my issue and the issue of Ugandans, which is pertinent, is the issue of protecting the family.
Message.
Yeah.
But in a world where people are transitioning gender, people are transitioning who they are, it was time for me. I have a new name. I'm Gabriel Baba Wanga Mujiri.
I have seen that one on
Twitter. Yes.
And that's what you call yourself
Yeah.
on Twitter. But I don't think you have authority to give yourself a name.
Well, if anybody can change their gender, we're in a world where you can even change your gender in New York. If I want to be X or Z or whatever, you can self-define.
And for the person you are,
Yeah.
I'm impressed that you even know transgender and you approve of it.
I'm expert. My PhD is in public service. My Master's of Science is in counseling and psychology, Bible, biblical. My Master's is in political science and sociology. Professor Mamdani was my professor here at Makerere. I have had a chance to, I've taken interest in this whole movement of the LGBT, the LGBT nation. So I understand, I study them. I've worked for about a year amongst homosexuals.
Your sayings do not really show that you have an understanding of the people who are homosexual.
I think people don't understand me.
Yes.
I spent 1 year working in Philadelphia.
They take your
As
words.
an HIV.
They take what you've said.
No, people when, unfortunately, when people disagree with you, they put you in a certain corner, but they never get a chance to know who you really are.
Because
Fine.
before you started the fight against
I was, because that was the year.
homosexuality, yeah.
That was the year that Dr. Sylvia Tamale came up defending homosexuals in Uganda.
Yes.
If you do recall.
Her argument was
Yeah.
that there are also people that they have rights and
No, her argument was
they
that-
shouldn't be killed off and so
No,
on.
her argument was that they must be equated as a new gender. You must understand there's 23 genders. There's men who call themselves women, women who call themselves men. There is half men, half women. I mean, it's 23. I don't know if you really understand that. It's crazy.
No,
okay?
but I
It's
remember
crazy.
her argument. It did say-
Unfortunately,
it did say
let me be
that.
clear. Let me be clear on that,
Yeah.
because what is happening is you have a convergence of people are trying to criminalize my speech, and they are trying to create baseless lawsuits that I'm creating violence. They say you killed David Kato. I wish to be on record. I have never called for the jailing of homosexuals or violence against them. I've not done that before. I'm not doing that now or after. I have been clear. It is against the law of Uganda. It's against the law of God. It's also against natural law, where male goes with female. Secondly, all these homosexuals run with the Western world. They run Europe. And if you disagree with them, they will vilify your speech and recreate you as an extremist.
Message.
I mean, Bobby Wine sang a song called Burn Them, okay? Bobby Wine was banned out of England for 10 years because he stood up against homosexuality, okay? This is the power of the vilification until he had to make peace with the LGBT. The third thing I want to say is this. When you talk about the movement of homosexuality spreads on 4 stages. Number 1, they demand non-discrimination. Break the law that you have. Just leave us alone. The second stage is the demand for equality. Equality, oh, okay, you marry a woman, I marry a man. Oh, okay, but I'm not sure about that. Then the third stage, they began to demand for special rights. They said, you know what? We are special. We are a minority. We need affirmative action. And the last stage is domination, where everything in that country, anyone who even expresses an opinion, whether biblical, Islamic, they say that they have come up with hate speech.
True, and yeah, that's pretty true. That's true, and yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's pretty true. That's pretty true. I mean, that's true.
In that regard, they come up against you to imprison you for speaking that. This is where Europe is. This is where Canada is. This is where South
where
Africa
is Uganda
is.
now?
Yes, and
Yes.
I've written 2 books on this subject. Okay, Africa's Resistance to Euro-American LGBT Aggression. It's a 450-page book that documents in careful, detailed terms how Africa's culture, religions have been attacked, and they are in the process right now of being destroyed. Most of other people don't quite understand in the misrepresentation. Uganda is at the stage where they are working to decriminalize it, but we are in a social war. Every concert right now, every film that is coming out of Hollywood, every song that is being sung, we're having every embassy here. If you want to get a visa, either Europe, America, it is one thing, LGBT. In fact, if you've ever expressed an opinion contrary to what is accepted, you may not receive a visa.
This court is rooted in European human rights. And for the European human rights view, sodomy is a human right. But for the African view, sodomy is a human vice.
Well, all right. Okay. You win.
When you see all of this, you get an understanding of the turmoil and the battle that's getting real and more real every day, as this agenda is being focused solely on amongst the many issues going on in Africa, and dare I say right here back at home in the US. To really get a broader spectrum of what this is, understand this. I'll use this contrast. In 1910, only 9% of Africans were Christian. But through many missionary groups and causes and pushes, now it's estimated that around 63% are Christian. I mean, they pushed all that religious movement over there as a guise for all types of corruptions and ill-fated schemes at the behest of many unsuspecting Africans. For most African governments, understand, protecting and promoting the rights of LGBTQ is not a national priority. Unfortunately, some of the African leadership have been influenced and compromised, y'all. And that's through the backdoor politics with bribery, promises of monetary gain. If they just let the Western powers that be incorporate their policies all over, they're giving so much, y'all, under the table stuff, you know, things that stay away from the populace. So they don't really understand what's going on, but they understand energy. That's why they was trying to get this dude in Ghana, this president of theirs, removed back 4 months ago. This is what you must see that's going on. You know, to legally pillage and plunder resources, these are the tricks they use. And this is what it's about at the end of the day. The LGBTQ agenda was already in full effect back in 2004, I'm telling you. You know, it was back then when a smokescreen of HIV and AIDS causes were disingenuously planned and carried out to spread, allegedly, many other sicknesses and diseases, with also the premises to push this status quo agenda. I mean, it's already infiltrated all the homes of the nuclear family right here in America. I mean, it's everywhere here. For us, it's a right over here. To them, it's going against their uniform alliance of preserving their culture, mother, father, child. I mean, this is the oldest civilization that has practiced this from the beginning of time. Who are y'all to go over there to tell them, rather shame them into really becoming what we are here? It's good to stay on this technology, man. It's a lot of sucker shit going on, and I feel like we're so blinded by the entertainment world, You know, they know how to keep us, you know, away from this stuff. But, you know, there's those of us that's always going to be on it. It's your boy Gravitating Away TV. Hopefully I gave you some insight. Like, comment, share, subscribe. But my people, understand, most importantly, please keep coming back.
If it's love, I want everything. Touch my soul, touch my heart, don't judge my mental. They told me that life is simple, been real since Papa Pimple. I started out in the Renault Sonata, the presidential. Speak once and listen twice. They told me that less is simple.